One of my favorite quotes of all time from Rocky, which is right on the wall about 2 feet away from me, says, "Life is not about how hard you hit, but it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward." Well, we're at a very challenging point in history here in the COVID times, and history is going to reveal a lot. And a lot of people, for lack of better terms, are coming out of your skin. Life is hard. We have relationship strains. We have health concerns. We have mental roadblocks. We have, financial concerns. We have all of that, and everybody has something that they're dealing with, no matter what they look like, no matter what their outward appearance is. Everybody's dealing with something on some level. Don't let them fool you. But it doesn't have to define who you are. I personally, during this period of time, and I don't know about you, I struggle horribly with procrastination. And a lot of that is because I'm a people person. I'm a lifelong sales guy. I like to be among people and my clients and my friends and talking and doing presentations. And that's just what I do. That's what I enjoy. I think that's why I enjoy doing this. I feel that I'm getting some interaction with you, whoever might be watching or leaving feedbacks or giving comments. You might prefer to do something different. But for me, not having that interaction and being stuck in an office and behind a computer and by myself a lot, I miss that human interaction. So when I look at the things that I need to do, and it's a lot every day, it's just not stuff that motivates me that I want to do it. Now, it has to be done, it needs to be done, and I ultimately get it done. But unfortunately, it's usually when my back's against the wall, I'm running out of time, and I have to get it done now because I personally perform better under pressure. And I think a lot of people do too. But the problem with that, and maybe you're experiencing that when you procrastinate and you're just putting off things that you could, need to get done till the next day. Well, in the meantime, more things are piling on that have to get done. So ultimately, that to-do list of the things that you really don't want to do in the first place keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you're faced with this mound of stuff, whether it's work or home or family, whatever that may be. Now you have a giant pile of stuff that you have to do that you didn't want to do when they were small piles of stuff. And then when you look at that, what's that do? It causes you to feel a little anxiety. It causes you to maybe feel a little bit depressed. It causes you to look for distractions to make you feel better. And that, my friend, is where the danger sets in, because that's where that craving for dopamine to make us feel better, to override the things that are making us feel bad, that's where it comes in. That's exactly what happened to me a long time ago. I didn't like some of the way I was feeling. I didn't want to do things. So what do? You look for things to make you feel better. For me, I went down a bad path. What started out as, happy hours and client lunches ultimately turned into, total dysfunction. It crept up on me. And that could be happening to other people, whether it's an addiction or gambling or, whatever. Too much TV, too much, binge watching too much. Letting your health go, just becoming a couch potato, all of that. And everybody, it's unique. It's unique to all of us, right? And when we have this procrastination, which ultimately leads to a lack of results, well, now we don't really feel that we have much purpose. And then other things set in. And I know a lot of people are struggling with it. I know a lot of people are hurting with it. I know that it is something that is real. And I keep repeating the words depression, anxiety, and addiction. A lot of it fueled and starts with procrastination. So what is the cure? It's very simple. It's activity. It's keeping busy. Now, it's not just doing busy work, because just because you're doing a lot more does not mean you're getting a lot more done. It's about prioritizing the things that you need to do to move your ball forward today. When you do your brain dump, as I've talked about in the past, every day, write it out. You itemize everything that needs to get done, no matter how big, no matter how small, and then you prioritize it, least to most important. And only if you only get one thing done that day, pick the hardest one and try to move that ball forward. Mark Twain says, get up in the morning and eat the frog. That means do your most difficult, challenging task first thing in the morning, and then it should be all downhill after that, okay? I say it, I don't always do it, and I struggle with it. Every day I write it down, and many days I don't get it done. Many days I fail. Many days I'm not as productive as I want to be. So what do? For me, my anchor is my health. So if I blow a day and I'm not as productive as I want to be from a work standpoint, I make sure I get in a really good workout at the end of the day, just so I have some control over some aspect of my life. And I do it with my nutrition and my diet. And then I got news for you. Every new day is a new opportunity to start over, to try to get it right. You can't be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. Stop expecting perfection out of yourself. And more importantly, stop expecting perfection out of other people. You know the saying, all we can do is all we can do? I guess that's true. But are you truly doing what you should do? Because sometimes we're talking about quantity and quality. So pick that one quality thing over all the busy work. That should help to give you a little bit direction. I remember at a point years ago, before I went down that bad path, I had, several employees, I had a business partner. That ultimately did not work out, and that contributed towards where I went. But I learned that lesson that you have to be able to be nimble, and you have to be able to adjust, and you have to be able to just respond and react as things come up. And in hindsight, I didn't handle that well. I thought I did, but the outward appearance that I didn't match how I was feeling inside, which it's actually kind of funny. If you can see this painting, which I'll try to show you. It's a famous painting, but it's called The Son of Man, and I've been infatuated with it my whole life. But it was only until recently that it kind of clicked with me that what draws me to that with this man is it has an impeccable look on the outside, but yet with the face being covered, you never truly get to see who that person is. That person never lets you in deep enough to see what makes them tick. So the outward appearance doesn't necessarily match the inward person. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're dealing with your struggles. Maybe you're dealing with your emotions. Maybe you're hanging on by your last thread because your job's wearing you thin, your spouse is wearing you thin, your kids are wearing you thin, the economy, the politics, the government, COVID. But on the outside, you look like you have it all together. On the inside, you just want to scream. And a lot of people are like that, and I get like that too, and it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to encourage you to take a breath, divide your life into buckets or compartmentalize. Health, family, friends, finances. And maybe you have a fifth bucket of hobbies or projects or pet projects. And each day, if you identify one small thing to put in each bucket, and you work towards that, you're gonna start to move your life forward. But if you're looking all at like, I don't have enough money, and you focus on that, well, now you're gonna neglect your health, your family, your friends, your passion projects. So if all you can do today is this little thing over here, do it. And then do it in this bucket, this bucket, this bucket. You have to keep putting water in all of your buckets to keep moving your life forward. Otherwise, the saying, if you're not moving, if you're not growing, you're dying. Well, it's the same thing. You're either making progress, you're either moving forward or backwards. There really is no status quo. As humans, we grow, we develop, we gain skills, we gain knowledge. We have the ability to grow in our talents and abilities. But we also have free will, which means we can ignore and deny and not take advantage of those opportunities. So when you decide what direction you want your life to go in, you need to start compartmentalizing and identifying what are your buckets. What are some of the small things that you can do? Focus on the activity. One of my favorite quotes is by Tony Robbins, where it says, progress equals happiness. Move it just a little bit each day. And just like in football, some plays you might 50 yards down the field, the next play you might go 5-10 yards back. But in the end, it's about having a net gain with life. So not everything's gonna go as planned. You're gonna feel down, you're gonna feel depressed, you're gonna feel that anxiety. It's very important to be in touch with yourself, to not let the addictions or self-destructive behaviors kick in because you're on a dopamine chase. And what ends up happening with that, like those of us that had to overcome an addiction, You get a little bit, it lasts for a while, but then the time in between gets shorter and shorter and shorter, so you have to keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it, and then it just gets to the point that it does the complete adverse or the opposite of what you wanted. The very things that you end up doing to make you feel good actually end up making you feel worse, and you think it's going to make your problems better, but it actually, it destroys everything. So if you're at that point in your life where you are feeling a little depressed, a little anxiety, maybe you're struggling with some decisions, maybe you're teetering, you think you might have some problems, you might, and that's another topic. I actually did make a video on that you can check out. Look in the mirror and ask yourself what scares you. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what do you need to do to make the progress that you want to? Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, who do I want to become? And then answer, what do I have to do? How do I do it? How do I take my first step? Who do I reach out to? Is it something you can look up online? Is it something you can gain from a book? Is it something that you can gain from somebody that you know? Anything is learnable. Almost any skill that you need or want, other than a few, is learnable. You can learn it. You're never too old. It's never too late for you to change course and pick a different direction in your life. Somewhere along the lines, someone got into our heads and said, once you cross certain age barriers, well, now you're too old to do anything. And people started to believe that. But I'm here to tell you, my friends, it's one of the biggest lies we've ever been told. If you have breath in your lungs, then you have the ability to change your life, change your world. You might have some physical limitations, financial limitations. There's always something you can do. But now you have to make the choice. What do I want and what am I willing to do? And life is short, and if you need motivation, you got to realize you're going to die. So do something about it. Now, I don't say that to be morbid, and that's actually a quote, it's not a quote, but Gary Vee says it all the time. You're going to die. Do something about it. Meaning you get one life, live it. You make a mistake, move on from it. You screw up, so what? You offend somebody, apologize. You do damage, fix it. You get my point. But every day you have a choice on what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So take a little inventory, figure out who and what you want to be, and take your first step in that direction. Share this with somebody that you think, or tag somebody who you think might benefit from this. Subscribe, follow, give me some feedbacks or comments of what we want to talk about, things that we can address, and as a community, we can all build each other up and create that movement so that these times will make us stronger and not weaker. So with that, go make your